What is up, YouTube? We are back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about neo-vintage Swiss Quartz watches and why I think they are the best bang per buck, especially if you want to get into the realm of luxury Swiss watches at a fraction of the price. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do a quick wristwatch check. Today I am wearing my Seiko Cultura Kinetic. I really love this watch. It's pretty fancy, kind of dressy. It's a good like everyday piece. Sapphire crystal, 100-meter water resistance. Capacitor is still pretty good on it, and I got it for a pretty good deal on Facebook Marketplace. But without a further ado, let's go ahead and dive a little bit more into these Swiss Quartz Neo Vintage watches. All right, so before I get going with this video right here, I do have some notes off screen, so don't mind me if I'm looking off screen, but I just want to make sure you guys are getting all the information that you need. But anyways, when it comes to neo vintage watches, we're talking about watches that were made in the late 1980s up until like 2005-ish, maybe 2010. And this was a very interesting era, especially for Swiss watchmaking, because they in this period are kind of recovering from that quartz crisis from like the 70s and the 80s, and they're essentially kind of embracing the quartz technology. All right, so during this time, a lot of these companies are experimenting with, let's say, different designs. A lot of these designs that we're very much used to. A lot of the build quality is also very good because, again, this is the Swiss luxury watch market, right? We're using high-grade ETA movements, and you know, it's different back then because when it comes to quartz watches, they essentially weren't really cutting corners. Obviously, nowadays when it comes to quartz watches, it's kind of like you know, the quality. I don't want to say the quality was like bad, but nowadays quartz watches are meant to be, you know, on the cheaper side, unlike the automatic counterparts. So that's why I think that these neo vintage Swiss Quartz watches are a really great way to get into the hobby, especially if you know you want to save a couple bucks or just try some things out. Also during this time, I think that some of the designs that they came out, you're only really gonna find it in that era, so it's very indicative of that era, especially when we get to like the early 2000s and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take it down. We're gonna take a look at a decent amount of offerings that I have here that again offer great bang per buck from some very, very good brands. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I got. All right, folks, so in front of us we have a good amount of some really nice quality Swiss Quartz watches from my personal collection. We have everything from Movados to Zodiac. We have some Tag Heuer, Omega, what else? Abel, some Concords. We got some really great watches here. And again, a collection like this, I mean, a lot of people will be happy with, okay? First thing I want to talk about as to why these watches are essentially on the cheaper side is because, well, when it comes to, you know, watch collecting, a lot of people really, you know, they prioritize mechanical movements over, you know, the quartz. You know, they say that quartz isn't romantic. You can't really have a relationship with it because it's essentially, you know, it's like a robot, right? Battery powered isn't real watchmaking. So again, prices are going to be on the lower end, right? Again, the thing is, we have some pretty good watches here, okay? We have, let's see, let me grab, you know, my Tag Heuer 2000 chronograph. We got some really good build quality here, you know, solid movement, solid bracelets, you know, for the time, of course. I think now it's still pretty decent, but I mean, you can get some pretty good watches again for like under $600, $500, maybe even $300 if you're looking, right? So really, you know, there shouldn't be an issue with quartz watches. And again, it's all preference really. So just remember that it's all preference. If you like all mechanical watches, that's fine. If you like all quartz watches, that's fine. If you like Chinese watches, that's fine. If you like Japanese, Italian, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's all really your preference. I'm just, again, saying that if you want to get into this hobby and, you know, save a couple bucks as well, you know, a quartz watch is not a bad place to start. All right, let's go ahead and talk about like design too when it comes to these watches, right? a lot of these neo vintage watches are like in a good size, size range. We can range from like 36 millimeters all the way up to like a 40 millimeter case, like this Omega pre-bond right here. Okay, again, most people nowadays prefer like a smaller watch, nothing too crazy. So a watch like this would be perfect for their wrist. Again, we have like a smaller offering here from Breitling, but again, I mean, these would look great on anybody's wrist. The build quality is really good. Again, Breitling, even though this is a court watch, it's essentially over-engineered. All right, it's got all the bells and whistles that you want from, a Breitling watch in this nice small package right here. And also, I just really like it on this green strap that I have here. But again, great offerings, great prices from a lot of these brands right here. Again, another two that you guys could possibly take a look at are some more kind of well-known brands. I mean, they're not as popular as they used to be. So Abel and Concord, again, very good build quality on these watches. I mean, like, I just love the bracelet on this watch right here. Even has a very unique, crown protector here. And again, it's just taken away. Put it on, forget about it, and it looks good on the wrist. Same thing with this Abel here, right? The Sports Wave that you can see here. I just love the design of this bracelet. You don't really see this anywhere else anymore. All right. Then you have some other really cool designs like, this Movado. This is a, I think, what is this called? The Sports Edition. And you also have this guy right here, this Movado, I believe it's called a Series 800. I love that wavy dial right there. You kind of see it in there. But again, these are all great watches, very unique, Shoot, what else can I say? I will say that prices won't stay low on these guys for very long, in my opinion. Over the years, I've seen that prices have been steadily rising. I think biggest example are like Tag Heuer 2000 watches. Depending on condition, they could go up to like $800 sometimes. I've seen on eBay. This one is obviously a little beat up. All right, got some damage on the crown there. Some of the gold plating is coming off on the links here. But I mean, regardless of the condition and everything, this is still a great watch. I mean, if you get this serviced, and get the gaskets replaced, you could probably still go swimming with. I wouldn't, but if anything, this would be a great like everyday watch, something you could just throw on with jeans, t-shirt, or even on a suit. So again, don't write off quartz watches, folks. All right. Another offering, get Zodiac. This is a Speed Dragon, super duper funky looking watch with this like kind of cucumber green strap here. Great for summer. You can get these for under $300. I got this one for like $120. So again, you have a lot of offerings here, folks, and I think a lot of people would be happy with what we see in front of me. And again, there's several other different models and colors and strap options that you get. Of course, I think condition is going to be a big factor when it comes to these watches, because as you've seen, as many of these watches, they got scuffs, scrapes, and everything. But I'm okay with that. All right, I'm okay with that. Obviously, since these are vintage watches, they're gonna have some issues. Nothing too crazy though, I'd say, because again, these things were overbuilt, over-engineered, I think, my opinion. And again, with those reliable Swiss ETA quartz movements, you really can't go wrong with these watches. So hopefully, I'm not trying to convince you again, like I said, but Swiss Quartz is a good investment in my opinion. Again, also a great way to have a lot of these funky designs that you don't see every day, like this Series 800. Like, that's a really funky looking design, integrated bracelet, red dial and everything. Again, I think Abel and Concord have some really good unique offerings as well, especially, I mean, look at that. Where else do you see that, And, again, Tag Heuer is also a great brand. I know some people don't enjoy them too much. I love Tag Heuer. I think they're great for the money. They have a pretty good history, and you could get these off like eBay, Crown 24, you know, for under $500. I mean, I got this chronograph for right around $5. I got this guy for around like $250. But again, prices will vary. Again, this one I was really happy to get. My Breitling, I always love Breitling, but the size is, you know, especially on the modern ones, too crazy for me. I have small wrists, so this nice little like 37 millimeter Breitling Colt, this is perfect for me, folks. And again, this combo right here, I think what is this bracelet is from like Amazon or something, but I mean, it just goes great together, you know. So again, quartz is a great way to get into this crazy hobby of ours. Let's go ahead and take it back and talk about our closing thoughts. All right, so who is buying a neo-vintage Swiss Quartz watch, right? There's a couple of people that come to mind who I think would be the perfect customer, right? So the first person that comes to mind is somebody who's looking to get into their first luxury Swiss watch, right? They don't want to break the bank. Quartz is a great way to go because, again, mostly the luxury watch brands, their quartz offerings are usually a lot cheaper. Again, big example I could give you guys, Omega and Breitling. Okay, Omega, Breitling, what else do they have there? You know, Tag Heuer. Okay, they have some great mechanical offerings, automatic offerings, but they can get pretty expensive, especially when it comes to Omega and Breitling. All right. Unfortunately, now they don't really make any more quartz pieces, but again, you look to their back catalog, to their neo-vintage lines, and you can find some gems in there. All right, so again, that Breitling Colt that I had, the Omega pre-bond that I had, great places to start if you're wanting to get into this crazy hobby of ours, right? The next person who would get a neo-vintage quartz watch is somebody who just kind of wants a daily beater with some heritage, right? Somebody who appreciates the brand, but also doesn't want the hassle of, you know, super crazy maintenance and servicing fees, something like that, right? So again, when it comes to these neo-vintage watches, you really just need to, you know, maybe replace the battery every once in a while. If anything, you know, replace the entire movement, which ETA movements aren't too expensive. And if you think about it, you're basically getting a brand new watch at the end of your service. So again, a watch that's, you know, 25 years old, replace the movement and it's, you know, ticking right away, super duper accurate, the build quality is great, and then of course you get that brand, the prestige, the heritage, which, you know, we all don't care about too much, right? If you know what I'm saying, Rolex. Okay, I'm joking. But aside from that, you know, again, Swiss Quartz is a great entry point into the hobby. It's also a great place to go if you want some reliability at a fraction of the price. So that's kind of what I'm getting at there. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am, but there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this is all my opinions. I know some people really don't like quartz that much, but I love quartz. Quartz is great. Again, great place to spend your hard-earned dollars for some interesting things. But if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.